Content warning. The stories and themes shared throughout this podcast may contain themes that can be distressing for you. If needed, please pause and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. If needed, please reach out to a mental health professional for support.
Welcome to the show, Rachel from Happy Grieving. So happy to have you here on Resilient AF with Blair and Alana, who is not currently with us in Australia, but we have you.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to be here.
Sitting on the deck overlooking the ocean and Airlie Beach. Us leading my second Happy Grieving grief trip with you. And it's been a ride, and I think let's start off by who are you? Who is Rachel?
I started Happy Grieving as a community on Instagram about 4 years ago.
So the handle is at
happy.grieving.
Yeah.
And actually, I started it about 2 weeks after my dad died. At that point, it was just my personal diary where I could share what I was thinking and feeling, whatever I was posting. Actually, it came from the fact that I always loved social media. And I had a travel Instagram account back then, which was my personal account as well. And it was so strange because as soon as my dad died, part of me was like, well, I don't want to post about travel right now. This is really, really strange. Obviously travel didn't mean anything to me after something so big happened. But then not knowing what to do with my leisure and my spare time, which a lot of was part of me was going to post on social media, I was like, well, maybe I need to have one about grief. And also, my brother also wasn't talking to me about how he was feeling and everything. So I was like, if I were able to just show him that it's okay to talk about it and to write about it, it's okay to grieve, then at least I could coy him into liking and reading my posts, but by being you have to support my new Instagram and trick him into knowing it's okay.
And did he?
He did for a while. I would force him to be what did you think of this post? And he'd be like, it's relatable. And that's where it began, really.
Actually, let's back up a little. Your dad died. First of all, I am so sorry. What's your dad's name?
Tim.
May Tim's memory be a blessing. I would love to know all about Tim and what happened.
Yeah, even 4 years later, just thinking back to that moment kind of almost emotionally transports me back to that moment. And you feel it. I feel it in right now it's in my stomach. Or I think that's where my stomach is.
We don't really know anatomy here. It's below my boobs and above my belly button.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like a sliver is slightly above my stomach, but I don't know what this is. So anyhow, that's where I feel it right now. It's this emptiness where it's where he's meant to be. And it was, I actually remember that specific moment I got the call quite clearly.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday night, and me and my sister and my boyfriend at the time, and he's my fiance now, we were out for dinner, Sunday night, normal dinner, checking out this new restaurant in town. And we had just got home. I think it was around 10:30 or 11 p.m. And I got a call from my sister. And she basically said to me, I don't even remember the words anymore. It was just basically, Mom called, Dad's in hospital, something's wrong.
Oh gosh.
That's when I called my mom and got the story from her about what has been happening. And even at that point, it was really hard to figure out how much of it was, what was the real story, what was actually happening, how ill he was. I didn't believe at all that he was going to be in that big a problem.
Yeah.
And it was 11:30, and I remember the first thing I was thinking, because it still wasn't real at that point, was, what do I do about work tomorrow?
So where was he and where were you?
My dad was in Hong Kong, and I was in London where I live and work.
And how long of a flight is that?
14 hours.
So what did you do?
First thing was immediately called my mom. Is this a go home back to Hong Kong thing? And she was like, I don't know. But the fact that she said, I don't know, for us meant that, yeah, you better come home. And at that point, it was in the middle of the lockdown. So in order to get on a flight, there was a couple of things we needed to do, which was to get a COVID test.
Yeah.
We also needed a certification to say that we were vaccinated twice. And also we needed to have confirmed bookings to a hotel in Hong Kong for 3 weeks of lockdown at that point. It was 3 weeks in a hotel room. And those hotels are limited supply because it's specific hotels that had the arrangement with the government to be able to do that. And so we were going through the list of hotels, calling, searching online, each one. It was a list of maybe like 40. One by one, there was no spots in any of them. And then we went on Facebook, on these like quarantine travel community groups, trying to see if there were anyone who knew how to get a room, or if anyone had a room that they didn't need anymore. There were people telling us, oh, call this number. We got a room from that guy. And at the point of making a payment, he's like, on the reference for the bank transfer, make sure you put the word financial aid. And at that point, we're like, well, we know a few things about scams. Like, this sounds like a scam.
Yeah.
So we didn't. But he wanted, like, I think it was $4,000 or something.
Oh my gosh.
For 3 weeks of a hotel stay.
That's, wow.
And even before that, it was so surreal, just thinking, is it worth $4,000 to go home to see my dad? Because we didn't know at that point, and we didn't believe at that point he was going to die, right?
Right.
So there was still that thought, like, is this something we would pay for? And obviously we decided yes. Then we had the fact that it was like he wasn't right financial aid. So we're like, well, okay, we don't want to get scammed. So we continued that search. It was like a 24-hour or more ordeal.
Wow.
And then the next morning, going to the center to get our COVID tests. At that point, it was a new thing, so it was a 24-hour turnaround. We still needed the actual antigen test. So even if we wanted to leave on the next flight, the first possible one was about 2 days later.
Wow.
Didn't sleep.
That's wild. So, you found a hotel.
Found a hotel. There's a lot of begging involved. Wrote an email to the government, like the officials in Hong Kong, saying, when we land, can we please go see our dad? He's in hospital. And they wanted a letter from the hospital saying that he was in critical condition for that to be even considered. So there we go. We went to the hospital. My mom did actually, and then asked if they could give us a letter. I remember getting that letter that said he was critical. And my reaction was, yes, we got the letter. Because then we can go see him.
Right.
It never actually crossed my mind critical means he was gonna die.
And like, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting what your brain allowed you to perceive at that time?
Don't know.
Yeah.
It just never crossed my mind that he was gonna die, like up until the minute he did.
So you get on the plane, you have a letter, you get on the plane.
Yeah, getting on the plane. That was troublesome as well. Because my sister's COVID certificate didn't have her middle names. So it didn't match her passport.
Oh gosh.
And so we were at the airport trying to convince the person who was checking people in to let us on. I think I got a little bit aggressive with them.
You're like, look, here's the letter. He's critical.
And he basically threatened if we were gonna like raise our voices, that he would get the cops to not let us, to like sort us out, basically.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, this is not a normal situation at all. Like trying to beg somebody to let you on a flight that you've been on 100 times in the past.
Yeah. That's terrible. So they let your sister
They
on?
let us on. They actually even gave us an upgrade in the end.
Yeah.
Business class. But, you know, at that point, it doesn't even cross your mind that it's anything special. You're just
trying to get home.
You're just trying to get home. And I remember waiting in the lounge with my sister on video with my family, my mom and my brother. And I remember seeing my dad's face in the video. And it was like just watching him change colors. Like just going a bit pale and just purple is the only word I have for it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being like, to my mom, do something about it, go get the nurse, get them to do something.
Yeah.
And then going on the plane thinking that, not knowing if that was the last time we would be able to really talk to them. And I say that very generously because he was already sedated by then, so there's also that question of whether he also even knew we were on the phone talking to him.
So you landed 13 hours later.
13 hours later, and an hour before that, he had passed away. So we actually we didn't even get there before he died.
How did you find out?
We had Wi-Fi on the plane.
Oh, Wi-Fi on the plane's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. We fell asleep because my mom's phone had run out of battery. So we were just... There was nothing we could do on the plane, so we slept. And I remember just waking up and just feeling bad about whatever that moment was. And that was kind of when we found out that he passed away already. Or was passing away.
You knew.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah, I know. It's just terrible.
So, do you still have to go to a hotel for 3 weeks?
Yeah. 3 weeks.
So your dad dies. Did you get to see your mom or anyone?
No, straight away it was the normal procedure for anyone traveling to Hong Kong at the time. You land on the airport, you do your COVID test there, and they shuttle you immediately to your quarantine hotel. And then from there, you're staying there for 3 weeks. You get fed by a centralized system where they deliver food every day to your room, but you're not even allowed out for a walk.
So, what did you do for those 3 weeks in the hotel? One of them, you started an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Like, what would walk us through? Like, what was life like now that it just changed?
It was such a blur, honestly. Such a blur. There are a few moments that I remember of that 3 weeks. Like opening the front door, which is what we do to get our meals, and noticing a pile up of food because I had forgotten to get my food for like the last 2 or 3 days. So there'll be like 9 meals. And just not even feeling hungry at that point, and not even realizing how much food was like just sitting outside. I don't think I could really tell the difference between day and night either. So I don't think I was sleeping properly. Shower was just not a thing I even thought about.
Were you with your sister, or did you have your own room?
I was with my sister. That was
Also interesting.
very interesting, but
Yeah.
also very tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that sounds really hard. Like, on a non-grief trip, even being secluded in this room for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've been telling people it was 2 weeks because I totally forgot it was 3 weeks.
Your brain's protecting you from
Yeah.
that. So that's really traumatic when, like, you find out there's something so devastating you can't be with other people. Like, your sister was there, but, like, your mom and, like, your brother. So when the 3 weeks quarantine was up, what happened?
Well, a lot was happening before it was over. I was calling the funeral parlors from this quarantine room.
Oh, so your dad, that all waited till you were out of quarantine. His funeral.
Oh, yes, his funeral was waiting for us, which isn't ideal because, you know, with the body and everything, you don't really want to wait that long. But then that's what we had to do. So I was, like, planning the funeral from this quarantine room, calling the funeral halls, like, asking for prices for a funeral. Like, that's just so ridiculous, like, that memory of that. And my brother was in the middle of applying to secondary schools in the UK because that was what he and my dad had started. And so the deadlines were those 2 weeks. And probably the most of my time was spent in the quarantine rooms helping my brother with that stuff.
Yeah. Sounds like it was a good way, a good distraction.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, helping your brother, applying, and planning a funeral is not a good distraction at all. And I know how you feel. Like,
Yeah.
So you get out of quarantine, now you have a funeral that you've planned from quarantine. You've started your Happy Grieving account.
The account was there, but it was barely anything at that time. I didn't even really post anything. I just kind of started the account. After the quarantine ended, I remember going out onto the streets of Hong Kong. At that time, actually, death anxiety was super high in my family. Because it was beginning of COVID. There was like some vaccinations going on in Hong Kong, but it was the beginning of the rollout. And somehow we had gotten ill during the quarantine as well. So my sister was very worried that I was ill and that would like pass on something deadly to my rest of my family. So she had asked me to stay somewhere else for the first week after quarantine. So I was still self-quarantining from my family. And I remember trying to go out to get food. And just walking along this bridge near where I was staying. And just looking at the people around me and feeling like, where are they going? Like, how can there be people just going about their days? What are they doing? Where are they going? When my world has just completely stopped. Just felt like I was in a different dimension.
Yeah.
And just kind of parallel living. But they couldn't see me.
Yeah. It's so hard, Rachel. It's so hard. And like, that was 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
It's a lot. Like, a lot has happened in those 4 years. Including you starting Happy Grieving's account and grief trips. Should we talk a bit about the transition from, like, pandemic, grieving daughter, which you still are, to starting this Instagram account that helps probably hundreds of thousands of people, to taking grievers on trips around the world?
Yeah, sure. It comes from, well, Happy and Grieving and grief trips I see as slightly different things. They are definitely built on top of each other. But Happy Grieving, to begin with, was my personal journal. I was very happy to write about my experience and how I'm feeling and to post it online.
Yeah.
Because you see all these comments coming in, and especially on the personal, like, direct messages, people would be like, whoa, I read what you wrote. I have never been able to put it to words, but you did, and I feel like you totally understand me, and I feel less alone that way. Like, thank you for what you're doing. Like, these messages came in very frequently, like on a daily basis. And it was another reason why I kept doing it. Along with that, it was my own healing as well, just putting my thoughts down to words, because it was always one of the ways I process.
Yeah. And you're a beautiful writer.
Thank you. And over the years, now it's like every month there's probably 1.5 million views.
Wow.
Of the things I'm posting. I can't even imagine what 1.5 million people looks like. That's massive. And the idea that not only do I have an audience for my thoughts, but also that there's equally as many people feeling seen from an account that is not afraid to be raw and honest and very just jump right into what everything about grief is like.
So so Happy Grieving started off as your journal, and now you also have the account Grief Trips. We're on a grief trip. Let's talk about that.
So I've always loved traveling.
You've been everywhere.
I've been everywhere since even before my dad
not
passed
Peru.
away. But not Peru.
One day.
And not Mexico yet.
Yeah.
And after my dad passed away, I was at home for the most part, just in my room for most of it as well. Until some point, it was just like, well, I've done enough bed rotting, and I wanted to do something else. And it kind of happened by accident, because I had never traveled solo at that point. And a friend of mine was going to Italy for a wine course, and he was one of the first person that I met up for like a brunch since then. And he was like, oh, why don't you just come with me and these two other ladies that he's traveling with, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna do our wine things. You can come along for if you want to. I think he said it out of pity, because at that point I was like, he was asking me what my plans are, and I clearly have no plans. But I said, okay, I'll come along. And I decided that I would do like 2 days with them and then the rest on my own.
Yeah.
And it was really nice just being out traveling again and just being in a different country. And even though it felt really different, like I would look at a sunset and be like, oh, I know it's beautiful, but I somehow just don't connect to the beauty of it. But even that felt better than just looking at the top of my ceiling in my bedroom, right? And I also remember being in a cafe with them at one point and just looking at him and being like, this is the first time I've felt even alive since my dad died. And that was around 6 months on. Yeah. And since then, it was just solo traveling, trying to find what I was not even sure what I was looking for at that point. And it turned out that it was no longer the food that made me interested, or even the landscapes, or even the things to do, but it were the people that I was meeting along my trip. And there were so many who also, in like the most random situations, I'll get talking with them, and sometimes they would even bring up first, so it wasn't even me with my dead vibes, which is what I suspected, but they would tell me that they lost somebody, and the connections there, they felt really, really like what I needed at that moment.
Yeah. So solo traveling really helps you heal. You met amazing people, and then you decided, I'm going to lead a grief trip.
Yeah, it was basically just, how do I replicate this? 1 year worth of solo traveling and meeting 20 different people with different stories. How do I combine that and condense it into like a week or a 2 weeks experience? Because not everyone can take that whole year off. And that's where Grief Trips was born. It's people who resonate with the idea of healing whilst also pursuing meaningful experiences and also connections. And I thought if the right people, and by right I mean whoever resonates with this, come on the same trip, then the experience will grow organically.
I love it. Traveling is like one of my most favorite things to do. And I went on my own like Eat, Pray, Love, Seek, Play, Slay adventure, like to Africa, like Ghana, Uganda, then to Croatia, and there was so much healing that happened on that trip, and also after integrating the lessons I've learned from the people I met around the world. And I just want to say, like, I know you because I saw your Instagram account and I saw you promoting the Bali trip, and I was like, let's get on a call because my life's work is to help people through their grief. And for you, having these grief trips, I'm like, this would just be such a beautiful synergy. Like, let's make some magic. And I invited myself. To work with you.
I remember that call very well. Yes.
She was like, okay, who's this crazy Canadian? It worked out.
Yeah, no, it works out perfectly because we're very much on the same mission. And a mission that kind of comes from the heart.
Yeah.
We're very much part of what we're trying to build as well. Yeah,
it definitely. And so I come in as the co-facilitator, but you do some trips on your own, and the trips that we have coming up we're doing together, and there may be other trips that I'm not part of. So she does other trips on her own. But so right now we're in Australia, and together we did Bali, and upcoming we have a whole collection of really cool trips coming up. Should we share what we're doing?
We have Maldives coming up next.
And there's still space?
There is. We're around 50% full already, and there's still a couple of months to go.
Yep.
In February.
Yep, but it's better to be warm and sad than cold and sad.
Yes, that's true.
It is true.
And I chose Maldives. Is it Maldives or Maldives?
I don't actually know, but whatever you say sounds good with your accent.
I thought it was Maldives, but I don't know. Well, I chose that specifically for February 14th. It was ending that day. And some people might look at it being like, oh, that is jarring. Like, Maldives being a place where people go on their honeymoons.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah, and it was kind of on purpose because a lot of people have losses that are their partners. And I figured that Maldives being one of those places where you kind of save to go with your partner, but maybe some people didn't get the chance to. And to just open up the suggestion that it's somewhere that you can still go.
Yeah.
You can still go alone or with people who get it.
Yeah.
And to just transform the idea of this is something that you've lost forever to something that you can still have, but it's just very different.
Yeah. I love that. So I'm excited. February is a big grief month for me, with both my mom and dad dying in February. And so I love that I kick off grief month leading a grief trip with you, and then I go into my own personal grief week with my sister. So that's going to be really exciting. And there's still some spots. And then we have...
Soon after, 2 months after, in April, it's Bali.
Come to Bali. Bali is amazing.
Bali is amazing, and it's already the 3rd edition. We've done 2 Bali grief trips already. One was with Blair, and one was with Hebe, who's my yoga instructor, co-facilitator. So each trip is quite different, but we're having the 3rd edition with Blair again. Very
excited. So that's early April, and there's room for you. And that we have
Portugal.
Oh my God, Portugal. Portugal's so spiritual too.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of history there. And that's at the end of August.
So 2nd time to Portugal. Portugal is actually the original grief trip, the very first one.
Yeah.
The very first one was there.
Actually, we have someone that came on that first grief trip who's now come on her 2nd grief trip, and she's here with us in Australia.
Yeah. It was a very special place for me because it was the last place my dad traveled to with family. We went to Lisbon together. He absolutely loved it. Yeah. My mom loved it as well. And instead of going back to London, on the day we decided to book them an extra week in Porto, which I've been before. So that's why Porto was so special for me, that he loved it so much.
I love that. Did he drink?
He doesn't drink.
Me neither.
He doesn't drink.
Me and Tim.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at doing... We don't have any other ones till 2027, right?
Nothing that's planned yet, no.
But we have a really cool announcement. We don't have the dates yet, but...
Oh, you mean Morocco?
Yeah, Morocco.
You're making it official before we decide it as official.
I mean, by the time this comes out, it might be official. But we've been talking about doing a Morocco trip for 6 months. We think January, a good time, so January 2027.
Yes.
So Rachel might have other grief trips that happen between August and January. But those are all available to you. And you can come on more than one.
Yeah, I go on all of them.
Yeah, you have to.
I go on all of them, and it's really interesting seeing how I'm changing. Just within the span of 1 year, or even between Bali 1 and Bali 2, which was only 3 months apart, and noticing how I'm different, even doing the same activity.
Yeah.
And it's not because I've done it once, it's just because
you're changing.
I'm in a different part of my grief.
And every day we're in different parts of our grief. And you don't have to sit in the deep hardness forever, but you have to want to make a change and move the needle. And there's lots of ways to do that, and these trips are so special. They're so special, and I love that, it feels like a little bit of Tim is with all of us.
I feel him a lot when we're here. There's this thing with lotus flowers that keeps showing up, and it's so unreal because maybe I didn't notice before, but then ever since my first trip, lotus flowers has come up in multiple trips, nearly all of them, and that was my dad's favorite flower. And actually the symbolism with lotus is that it's something that grows from beneath the mud, and it goes through the mud, and there's still beauty there.
Yeah. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah, it's the flower version of the bird one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that, the lotus and the phoenix.
Yes.
So, as we wrap up, how do people find out about these trips?
Right now, it's all through organic social media.
And
Happy Grieving.
Yeah. I was going to see your website.
At my website, we had the first person find me through Google to my website.
What is the website?
It's grief-trips.com.
Grief-trips.com.
Yes, and all the information is there.
Yeah, and so there's all the pricing, all the information. You want to go, Rachel gets on a call with you. You can message me and I can connect you.
And if you want to see videos of the trip and like video testimonials of the trip, then at grief.trips on Instagram is the best place to go.
Yeah, and or you can just trust me that they're awesome. And like we work really well together too. Like there's a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, and our personalities really balance each other out. So it's exciting, and we always have an age range, early 20s to 60s, and everyone. It's any type of loss. It's up to you to decide if you want to come on these trips. Like your grief is for you to define.
From what you've seen so far, what do you think? Is there a right time in your grief to join a grief trip?
Well, I would say it's up to the person, but we're not just sitting around. There's movement, there's activity. So I know some people's grief is extreme exhaustion, where you can't really get out of bed, where here you're getting out of bed. So that might be a good thing to book a trip like this, because it might get you, recreating new habits in your brain. But we don't just sit around and talk about feelings. We do workshops, we go deep, we laugh, we cry. Yesterday we did this big adventure, lots of beach walking and hiking, and like I've been getting like 12 to 20,000 steps a day. So you just need to keep in mind that we're going to get you moving, and that's a big part of healing. So if you feel like you can't get out of bed, it might be a good time to come, or know that you can strive to be on these trips when you're ready to get out of bed.
And also, we've had people come 1 month after the loss.
Yes.
Or I think it might have been 3 weeks even.
Yeah. And like everyone's on their own healing program. But I like to say, like, in my gut, if it's not a heck yeah, it's a no. So if your intuition and you're like thinking about it, maybe you sit with it and it just keeps coming up, it's probably time to come on a grief trip. And you don't have to come on the next one. Like, maybe you need, you want to come on a trip, and maybe, you're watching this in December and you maybe think August is a good time. It's good to get that going because the trips do sell out. Yeah. I'm so grateful for her because traveling is my favorite thing to do. Helping people, empowering people to strengthen their resilience muscle. The Global Resilience Project's mission is that. It's to help people strengthen their resilience muscle and to bring my Navigating Grief framework and the journal, the Resilient A.F journal, and put them in the hands of happy grievers or future happy grievers is such a gift. So I'm just so grateful for you. And, I think also we've talked a lot about resilience. Maybe we end on, like, what does resilience or being resilient AF mean to you?
Resilience? It's such a hard one to define because at different times it just feels like something different.
So today?
Resilience right now feels like going out to do the things that I still love. And being able to make plans for today, the next week, and the next year, even when the uncertainty of what the future would be like is so overwhelming, but still being able to say, okay, what I want to do now is right for me, and no matter what the future looks like, I can look back and say, this is what I needed.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. So Rachel and I live on opposite ends of the world. We connect on social, via WhatsApp, but I love that we get to meet around the world to help people through their grief, to help people strengthen their resilience muscles. So, you think we're done?
I think also to mention what grief trips really is.
Yeah, okay, that's a great way to end. Let's just, what is a grief trip?
So, grief trips is a combination of, grief trip is going to a beautiful destination with other people who also get it. and finding your own combination of working on your grief through the workshops that we do, as well as finding new exciting experiences in those destinations. Like you could be going to the beach, or in a sailing trip, or it could be a cooking class. You could be going to a temple in Bali, and finding these experiences that you can look forward to.
Yes.
Like the thing that I hear from people coming on the trips, and I really think does define what grief trips is about, is when people tell me, this is something that I'm looking forward to. I'm excited to grief trips.
Yeah.
And it's such a bizarre thing for people to say for the first time, or to feel for the first time after losing somebody, because it's rare to find something that's exciting.
Yeah.
And having that is kind of like a lifesaver sometimes when you're in that pit of despair, not really having a plan, but having something to look forward to is so important.
I love that. I've lived my whole life with always having to have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I realized I used to be running from something, but now where I am in my healing, I'm running towards something. And it's a beautiful way to shift that, and I love that. And sometimes with grief, it's good to have those things to look forward to feel that purpose or that excitement, because like it does exist and it will come back, and you can feel sad and happy at the same time, and all the feelings can exist, and you deserve to be happy and to fully live your life while you're still here.
Yeah. It's a way of moving through and growing through grief that you can be excited about. And then you leave with friendships that they continue.
They continue. They last a lifetime.
This is the kind of friendship that you just, it's soul binding, you know? Like you go back to your own countries, but then just knowing that they're there gives you that strength of not being alone.
And you don't have to go through it alone.
And you will actually never see them again because you have them on your phones at any. It's like my pocket community for grief, basically.
I love that. And we, you know, when you're connected with us, we do have something that we're going to be sharing soon with an online community. So when you come on these trips, when they're done, you're not done. We're going to have an online community that's going to meet and support each other through in between trips. So watch out for that. And thank you so much, Rachel. I'm so honored that you agreed to be on our show. And I know this
You've definitely been saying this since like 6 months ago.
Oh, I've been saying it since I met you. I'm like, let's get you on the show. Let's put you in the book. And today's the day, guys. It's a miracle. And I'm so happy that you're here with us. And I'm so grateful for you. So thank you.
Thank you. And I've loved having you on the grief trips.
Oh, thank you. And for all of you out there listening, you know, just remember it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to navigate the hard stuff alone. Let us be that lighthouse in the storm. And remember, you are Resilient AF.
That's a wrap for another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana. And thank you for listening. Are you feeling inspired to bounce forward? Let's connect at theglobalresilienceproject.com, where you can read many stories of resilience, buy our books, shop our clothing line, learn more about how to strengthen your resilience muscle, be empowered, and more. Remember, friends, you are Resilient AF.